Hi, guys.
Welcome
How's it
to
going?
our last podcast for the week.
And I was just getting warmed up.
Well, you'll be back on Monday for more opportunities.
Amazing to think that in less than 48 hours, we'll be right back at it.
Oh, don't say it that way.
45 hours of freedom.
No, don't say it that way.
Is that true? Wait.
No, it's more than that, but not as much as you want.
40, you're right. You're right. 69 hours of freedom.
No.
Yay.
But we're happy with the podcast today, so hopefully you guys enjoy it too.
Okay, in the podcast, we talk about, all kinds of things. But my favorite tweet of the week.
Ba-boom.
Ba-boom. Tweet of the week. It's in there. Governor DeWine of Ohio. And, boy, let's just argue
We're positive that it's a negative.
Let's argue about it. What do you say, guys? What do you think?
That's what you do. You need to have to usher into the weekend, which, again, depending on when you're listening to this, I know not everybody listens to it the day it comes out, but for us, it's a Friday, and that'll be everything we hear this week.
Somebody texted us earlier about something we said in August of 2019.
They were listening to an older one.
For those of you catching up, hello.
A year later.
Who won the election? And where should we invest?
Where did things go from there?
We talk about the lies that Taco Bell tells us.
Yep.
The highest paid person on TikTok. Liquor in your ice cream. Kanye. Grand pianos. Vitamin
the Lego
D.
grand piano.
Come on. So that's all I got.
Enjoy the podcast today. We're about ready to head off to do a Riot after show on our Facebook page.
Yes.
So when you're done with the podcast, you should always be following us on our Facebook page at RadioU Riot. You can also find it at RadioU Riot on our YouTube channel. But that's for the plan for us right now.
Always follow.
Yeah, we'd love to hear more from you, so you can always message us there.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget about Instagram Takeover Week next week.
Next week, we'll have more details. You can follow our RadioU DJs, which includes Obi and myself.
Nikki's on Monday.
I'm going to be on Monday. I'm going to take over our Instagram stories so you can see what a day in the life of me is like starting Monday at RadioU Official on Instagram.
I'm on Tuesday, but just be aware, it's going to be all lies.
It's going to be the best you can come up with.
Oh, come on.
Thanks for listening to the podcast today.
Bye.
If it's louder than it has to be and way worse than it has any right to be, it must be the worst of the riot. On Radio U.
After the show today, Nikki and I, we got a date with Keanu, baby.
We brought this up last after show, and you guys, a resounding yes, wanted to see us do a coloring segment. So we've got the Keanu Reeves. It sounds ridiculous when you say it out loud, but it's going to be lots of fun. We've got the new Keanu Reeves coloring book, which we will color while we do some taste testing of a couple items.
Very exciting stuff,
It'll
guys.
just be fun. We'll hang out, answer your questions, just, kill time with you guys after the show on our Facebook pages, which are both at Radio U and Radio U Riot. You should follow both pages.
This Mountain Dew flavor looks like an ad for Crazy Taxi.
So that came out in the springtime, but it was during all the stuff. So they're still really pushing it, and it's only at Speedway gas stations.
And you went to Speedway.
I did. I was trying to find the popcorn M&Ms. Went to lots of places.
No luck.
Lots of experiences, lots of quality time. Going to go find those things, but could not end up getting them. But I did find it's Spark, right?
Yes, Mountain Dew Spark Dew with a blast of raspberry lemonade flavor.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be like
other natural flavors.
It's supposed to be kind of like a pink lemonade sort of flavor.
It is bright.
And then when everybody was telling me about the popcorn M&Ms, they said, but what's better is the fudge brownie M&Ms. So,
well, I didn't even know that was an option.
So that's why I got those instead, since I couldn't find the popcorn ones. But if anybody sees those M&Ms, please let me know where you can find them.
The popcorn ones?
Yeah, I went to a couple of Walmart locations, some gas stations, another grocery store.
Hang on. When you keep saying that you went,
I did. I went to 4 places yesterday, and Eric went to 2. So we really tried our best.
Okay.
I went into 2 Walmarts.
I just want to make sure that Eric is getting the credit he no doubt deserves.
That was teamwork. And technically, I clocked in more places yesterday, though he normally will do the harder part of the work. But they were not around. Okay. And I went into the Walmart where this poor lady after me went in the wrong door, and then the worker starts yelling at her about it being the wrong door.
Yeah.
It was very weird.
How did she handle it?
Well, she was very old. I would have left if someone would have yelled at me like that, like in public. Yeah. But she just kind of shuffled along. And then everybody wore their masks, but right under their noses.
Yeah,
that's everywhere
the new hotness.
in Walmart.
That's the new hotness.
So I thought, I don't see them. I'm leaving now. I mean, yell at everybody if you want.
I guess if you're breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth.
I don't know. I think that was cheating. I felt like that was cheating.
What you're about to hear will live on the internet forever. Sorry, internet. The worst of the Riot podcast.
Listen, I don't know who Joshua Clayton is. I don't know this guy. No idea. But I want you to know that he has unleashed the most savage truth I've heard all week.
Oh, is this the tweet?
And I think that it might be the truest thing I've heard. I don't know, maybe in a really long time. Are you ready? Are you sitting down? Have you pulled over? Here we go. Panera Bread is overpriced hospital food.
That is so mean. Not that there's, anything wrong with hospital food, but it's mass produced. And
Nikki, it's right there.
It's right there.
There it is. It's true. I've never seen it until this very moment. But
I can see
Mr.
it.
Joshua Clayton is correct.
So his tweet, is it a tweet, I assume?
It is a tweet.
And it's blowing up everywhere today?
Well, I don't know that it's blowing up. It's only been retweeted 68 times.
Oh, so it's at the beginning.
But it was retweeted by a friend of mine, and it is real.
No offense, Panera Bread, but...
No, it's fine. Take offense. We should be offended. We should know because it is. It is exactly like eating at a hospital.
I think
maybe that explains why I don't like eating there.
I think it's because they make so much stuff ahead of time, or even like it's just more mass produced than you would think it would be.
They're like, here, have it in this little box.
Yeah, I mean, you saw when
Seen
TikTok in the beginning, everybody was shading on Panera Bread for like, here's how you rehydrate everything.
Well, you know what? If somebody walked out in scrubs at Panera, couldn't be any more true than this right here. We're just like, oh, nurse, I'm actually coughing. Can you help me?
You really like this tweet. He really enjoyed this.
I'm blown away by the truth. This is true. Wow. Thank you, Josh.
They even make morning people want to reach for the snooze button. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
You can file this under I'm not sure what to make of it news, but yesterday the state of Ohio was rocked.
Well, I think a lot of states too, because everybody's been following this guy.
Yes, Governor DeWine in Ohio. He has been on the front lines of, they say a lot of the decisions Ohio has made has had a strong influence on other states as they've been, dealing with their response to the coronavirus. So yesterday, President Trump was visiting Cleveland, which is in Ohio. And so Governor DeWine was going to Cleveland to meet President Trump.
But you have to take a COVID test before doing that.
So he took a rapid COVID test, tested positive, and essentially was sent back home.
Now he says he has no symptoms, and he didn't have to schedule one. I'm sure they came to him.
Right.
For his tests.
Well, have you seen the latest?
What is it?
Last night he took another COVID test.
No. Is it negative?
And it's negative.
Oh, my God.
Right?
No way. I didn't see that. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, the plot thickens.
The plot really does thicken.
Oh, no.
Because...
How many people would not be going back to get a second test?
Well, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
It just goes to show you it could be a couple of things. Like, you could go get a COVID test.
Could be negative, but it's actually positive. Could be positive and it's actually negative. Wow.
I mean, understanding, of course, this is why you get second opinions and all that stuff. But most of us are not in a position to get a second COVID test.
Who does?
It's like you get one, and if it's negative, you go back to life. And if it's positive, you have to lock down, lock away, don't come out.
Everyone who's been around you for that many days. I mean, my goodness. And oh, my gosh, I didn't know that part. You know how a lot of times we hear only the first news part and never the second? So that's surprising. I mean, it is smart of him to do that because of the fact that he had no symptoms, he said. But then we've seen stories of other people who've had no symptoms and have also tested positive.
Yeah.
Whoa. This is going to be a big thing, guys.
I wonder because yesterday I expected him testing positive to kind of blow up my feed, and I saw little to nothing about it.
I saw it everywhere.
Did you really?
Absolutely everywhere.
I saw almost nothing about it. And I was like, man, how come people aren't more mad? I mean, it's Thursday. Aren't we all supposed to be angry on any day ending in day?
Everyone was so angry because they're like, masks don't work. this and that. Or look, he did this and everything. That was all the stuff yesterday.
Well.
Now there's more to it.
Good. This is more
it's
stuff
like a mystery.
More stuff for you to yell about today.
I know that. I told Obi yesterday, I just want all this noise to stop. Like, it's so much. You just don't get any information. It's just everybody yelling it out to you.
Nikki, I hate to break it to you, but you just walked into a stadium-sized concert to the front.
I know.
To the front row. And you're only in sound check right now.
It's going to get louder, but...
Until we get, I'd like to tell you when the election's over, it's going to quiet down.
I'm sure it's not.
It's not, because this goes one. Well, I'll just say there are ways the election could go, and I mean, you won't even know what's going on, but your house will be on fire.
But it's fine.
But don't worry about it. That's right. We'll all be that little dog drinking coffee.
There's this meme where it's this little dog and the entire rest of the comic thing is like on fire. And he's like, it's fine.
This is fine.
It's perfectly fine.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki, one of my favorite old school games is a game called Miss Pacman.
Yeah.
I don't know, like had never really played Pacman, and I went on vacation one time, and they had it was actually like a youth retreat, and down in this place where we were, like they had a Miss Pacman machine in the basement, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this a shot. And it was Super Miss Pacman, and I was just like, what? This is really good.
Was that
it's like an old movie or an old book that you pick up and you're like, wait a minute.
What is this?
I like this.
Is that the one that used to be the Pizza Hut near us? We used to go at lunchtime for work, and they would have a buffet there.
Yeah, they do.
And they had a retro sort of area.
Like a tabletop thing?
Yeah, like you could, it was one you sat at, and then you could play across from each other. Do you remember that? It was a Miss Pacman one.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
It seemed retro like, hey, but I think there it was just old. They just had it there.
If you keep something long enough,
it'll be retro.
It becomes retro.
But that was always there tucked in like the corner.
So this company called Arcade 1-Up, and you may have seen them, they are reproducing arcade machines, but they're at like 30% scale or 40% scale. They're
so the machine is smaller?
Have you ever seen them?
I've seen the little ones, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that. And so they've just announced like their next round of those, and Miss Pacman is in the mix.
I saw one at Costco that I wanted to get, but it was just, they were a lot of money. For only getting that game, you can buy like an old game machine, or you can buy the ones that are outfitted with a ton of games.
Right.
And they just maybe have a outside that looks like Miss Pacman.
Yeah, and so they are, well, there's that. That's one of the things. They also have this Capcom cabinet that will have X-Men versus Street Fighter, X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. It goes on. It's a lot of X-Men versus stuff that you can get.
That one looks nice, too.
They've also got a Burger Time one that is coming.
These would be fun, like in your, like out in the entryway.
Yeah.
Like here at work. That'd be nice.
I agree. I think it would be great. When Nikki and I went to Tooth and Nail, they had a Miss Pacman machine out there.
Yeah, a lot of our bands are on that label.
I absolutely stood out there and played Miss Pacman. I was
or
like,
you just have it at home.
You know what, though? It sounds great, but they're $300. And I don't feel like, to me, $300, if it was like if you say to me, hey, it's $500, but it's a full-size cabinet.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay. But this is just some weird mini thing that sits in the corner.
That's going to make you feel big. You're going to feel really wrongly sized.
And like everything else in my life.
You're like, what's this?
The shoes don't fit. The pants don't fit.
The cabinet doesn't fit. I can't even play the game.
Yeah, so you know what?
It can be fun, but when you talk about like the full-size ones, those can be thousands and thousands of dollars. So
depending.
This could be a compromise.
I guess. I wanted to make them bigger, but I'll tell you.
They are making them bigger. They're just more money.
Yeah. I stood and looked at the old Star Wars arcade game. That I always loved that thing. That I stood and looked at it forever. I was like, maybe. I'm like, what are you doing? Get out. So I did. I just walked out. No purchases were made.
No buying it.
And let me tell you what, Miss Pacman, you can continue to tempt me from the... No.
We would give the Riot flowers to show our appreciation, but Obadiah's probably allergic. What isn't he allergic to? This is the Riot on RadioU.
It's a morning of controversies, okay? The governor of Ohio goes from having COVID to not having COVID. Can we trust anything?
What else is there?
Well, I'll tell you what there is. Taco Bell announced a couple of weeks ago that they're having to pare back their menu. We gotta take some stuff out. And basically, they eliminated every potato-based item they had on their menu.
They had a few other things they took with it, but it seemed like the potato thing was a real, removal for them.
They needed to streamline, was the word I think we heard a lot of.
No more potacos, and then they took away the Frito wrap thing that I really liked. So that was a shame.
And now, seemingly out of nowhere, Taco Bell, hoping we wouldn't notice, in their Fullerton, California location, has unveiled their crispy chicken wings.
Those look pretty good. Not going to lie. I like a crispy chicken wing.
It's not about that, Nikki.
Why? It's just
it's
you feel
about
lied
the
to?
lies. It's about the lies. You don't streamline your menu by adding chicken wings.
They're not adding it everywhere. They're just testing it. And depending on what part of California you're in, I think they also test in Tennessee, some places, a few other states where they'll test random stuff every so often. So you guys are getting crispy chicken wings.
Okay. Well, you want to...
I would love to try those.
I
love chicken wings so much.
Really?
These types.
Like that much?
Yeah, it has to be crispy, though. Just crispy chicken wings.
Have you had a non-crispy chicken wing?
Well, these are really crispy looking. I don't like the regular ones.
What you're saying is like a heavily breaded.
Yes.
Now we're getting
That's what's crispy. All the oil packed in.
Now we're getting to the heart of it.
You wanted to use that word? The B word?
Hey, I'm just
breaded.
Here. I'm just here speaking truth in love.
Now
That's
it makes
all
more
this
sense,
is.
though, right?
It makes way more sense now.
So served in a box of 5 with a side of spicy ranch to dip them in. That is a box for $4.99, and they're bone-in wings, so they're testing those there.
Now, if you're only half listening, which is how everyone interacts with their radio, remember
it's just
that
testing.
This is one location in California. And that's why they thought we wouldn't notice, and I still feel lied to.
So they have a mild Taco Bell seasoning flavor to them. And the person who's trying them said they would have really liked a volcano sauce or something else to kind of make it a bit more spicier.
I don't know. They look pretty good. I'd eat that.
Yes, we'd absolutely have the crispy chicken that they're testing at Taco Bell.
It makes sense. I realize I've mocked them, but with this whole streamlining thing, if you imagine that the chicken wings from all those chicken legs and breasts at KFC, which they're the same company, those wings have to go somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It does make sense, doesn't it? Yeah. They're like, send them over to Taco Bell. Let's see what they do with them.
Let's see. What do you guys have?
Using advanced technology, we've digitized and transcoded Obadiah and Nikki into a purely digital format. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Okay, Nikki, they announced yesterday that, yes, there is going to be a John Wick 4.
Yeah. And
but there's also going to be a John Wick 5.
I woke up to a lot of people who sent that in.
How are they making 5 John Wick
They're doing
movies?
the same time.
Yeah, I know. I get it. They're going to film at the same time and then release them.
Oh, you meant why, not how.
How are we getting 5 John Wick movies? You know what? John Wick is...
Well, the third one didn't do anything. Or this, no.
Didn't do anything.
I mean,
they moved the story forward. They made some
The second one was the one that didn't move as much.
I didn't care a whole lot for the second one. The third one, on the other hand, was... better, though I will tell you I've seen it one time.
Yeah, I own it, but I've only watched it the one time we saw it in the theater.
I bought it and have not watched it. So good job, us.
Well, we all really like the first one, I think, the most. And so, of course, why not have a fourth and fifth one?
I feel like the first one is head and shoulders above the other two.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, I get it. I get all of it. But it was just better when it was a small story about a guy that was mad. He was dealing with his grief and his dog.
Well, we like the fighting
shooting
style.
Yeah,
it was all more of an independent like thing to it, and then they tried to make it too much of a Hollywood fighting blockbuster thing, and that wasn't what was appreciated about the first one.
Yeah,
it was just a simpler John Wick,
The other thing that got announced in the middle of all of this is, Nikki, they're making a sequel to Dirty Dancing.
Okay.
That would be...
Wasn't there already one, or that was a different one?
Oh, my gosh. I love this. Much like the last Terminator film, I believe they're going to go back and pretend that sequel didn't happen.
Oh, never happened?
And now they have this movie.
Okay, so they announced that.
Yeah, and it's going to have Patrick Swayze, who was one of the original stars, has died, but the girl.
Oh,
Jenner,
they're going to have her back in it?
She's coming back.
She'll be the mom.
Dance.
That's what they always do.
The grandma at this
grandma? I don't know how old the movie is.
That's...
Don't say that. This probably makes her sad.
I don't know.
It's always like, hey, she goes spends the summer with the grandma, and then this is where the story comes from.
I don't know.
I guess we'll see what happens.
Those were the two announcements. They're both from Lionsgate.
Oh, that's
and so
why.
Yesterday they announced those two movies are on the docket.
So John Wick 4 and 5. 5 has been announced with it already,
yes.
and Dirty Dancing, a sequel.
Yes, and I look forward to announcing their postponement
at another date
later this month.
Things are never as bad as they seem, except when it comes to the riot. Then they're worse. They're always worse. It's the Riot on RadioU.
What I'm about to say sounds ridiculous coming out of my own mouth because I've never done this before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading a biography. It was not assigned by school.
Well, you've read a biography before, though, outside of that, haven't you?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think. In fact, I have thought many times biographies are stupid. Because that's just what I think about things.
Now, the first thing that popped in my mind wasn't Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter a biography?
That was a biography, wasn't it?
About our
about our immortal presidential vampire slayer.
Yes, I thought that was all true. So,
right?
Okay, we're not reading a lot of biographies.
I've read about historical events. Like I read about Lincoln's death, the hunt for Booth. I read about there's all these different things I've read, but I just don't typically read just the story of a person.
Of the person.
So it's a long story, but I'm reading a biography on Winston Churchill. He was the guy that was the prime minister of the UK during World War II, if you don't know. And I'm fascinated. I'm in his childhood right now. He had the meanest parents who just ignored him. And every time they did talk to him, all they did was say mean things.
Why?
So they have these letters. They basically sent him to boarding school and they wrote him letters. Over the course of, I think it was 6 years, they wrote him 7 letters.
And they're all mean?
Oh, yeah. He wrote them, I think they said it was almost 80 times, begging them to come and visit. And at one point he wanted to come home for Christmas and they sent him to France for Christmas.
Aww.
Wouldn't let him come home.
Wasn't he a tough guy? And it's probably from his childhood.
A lot of people have a lot of opinions about the guy. I just don't feel like I know history quite well enough to really, I don't know. It's weird. I've been reading history lately. There's so much controversy around everything in history.
Yeah.
Where you're like, yesterday I went to 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven is responsible for it. And that's just everything you read.
It's an example of what you get.
People are screaming about something, but I just have thought long and hard about this unbelievably difficult start to life that this guy got. And you could argue he had all the food he needed. He was going to school. He's fine. And he grew up to do some really great things. But emotionally on the inside, that's a hurt dude. That guy was injured by the people that he so desperately wanted that love and acceptance. And I look at that and I just find myself thinking so many of us maybe came from circumstances early in life that were difficult, but it doesn't mean that you can't grow up to a great life. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean that. I don't know what Churchill would have to say about this, but I know for me, one of the things that has enabled me to move past some past difficulties into an adult life that I think is pretty good. I mean, I could probably stand to make a few changes. Like, I'm doing all right.
You're doing great.
Right? And that has been the relationship that I've had with God. You know, God gives us a chance to realize that we are loved, that he is there for us, and that we really can move past our past into a new and better future. I'm not trying to sell you on self-help, self-motivation, whatever. I am telling you that God has helped me. And if you need help because of some things that you've been through, Jesus wants to help you. Start there. Just say, Jesus, I want that. I want you in my life. I want you to fill me with your spirit. I've had tough times, but I want healed and I want to move past it. And you and I think you can, because real talk, if what's his face can do it, so can you. I believe that.
If you're looking for all the funny moments you missed during the riot, we apologize. You won't find them here. There weren't any. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
If you find yourself wondering, can I make any money on TikTok? I have an answer for you. Yes.
While it's still here? No.
Can you make a lot? I don't know. It has come out. It came out last night. Addison Rae, she's 19. She is one of the biggest TikTok stars. She's making $5 million a year.
She's the highest earning one, I believe.
So, and obviously you're going to end up earning more than her.
Because you're better than that.
What does she do? Stuff like hang out in a bikini by the pool, please.
You could do that totally.
Wait, your cooking videos are going to be so much more popular than that.
You're just going to totally rake in that much money.
Like you and your friends, like doing your, and then you're goofing around and like, oh yeah.
And that's just from that. I mean, a lot of TikTok people have moved into Instagram and YouTube to try to make even more of a social media impact. So they're making even more money than that.
Yeah, you just got to, move around. You got to diversify your brand.
Your portfolio.
Especially now that the president's declared war on you.
I was wondering how a lot of them would be worried, but it should be fine.
So here's pictures of her in her American Eagle jeans. So
that'd be a brand?
That's a straight up belfie right there, Nikki.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it is.
That means it's a butt selfie?
Yeah. But
you know
what? She's, winning accounts, making money, doing things.
I wouldn't mind $5 million a year. That seems awfully nice, doesn't it, guys?
It does sound good. But I mean, like,
I know it has its problems, and, anybody with fame will always tell you that, but it wouldn't be bad.
I'll just tell you right now, I'll bet you that Addison works incredibly hard. Mm-hmm. And you might be like, no. I will tell you, every photo that you see of her doing nothing is in reality
hours
her doing
of work.
An enormous amount of work to make that photo of her doing nothing.
So I guess what we're saying is we wouldn't mind $5 million a year, but I don't want all that pressure with all that.
I want $5 million for nothing.
Yeah, I want one of my pets to become like viral,
Insta-famous.
So
yeah.
They're the ones making the $5 million, and I'm like the manager.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. Basically, you know what I want to do? I think it's...
What do you want to do, Obi?
I want to wake up every morning when I want to.
Oh, that's good.
And then I want to spend the morning drinking coffee and journaling.
Gosh, what a great idea. Planning the day.
No. Just reflecting on the previous day. And then when I'm ready to, maybe I'll do something.
But for most of us, we have someone who tells us when to be and where.
Well, I mean, I got to be...
time?
I have to be here talking to you guys.
You do.
So, thanks a lot, everybody.
Well,
you're making my life so miserable.
You're not a social media star yet. That's why you're coming into work.
No, you know what? I'll just tell you, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but like I'm just not good enough looking to be a social media superstar.
Are people really still listening to the riot? You don't have work to do or laundry to fold or literally anything else to do? The Riot, RadioU.
Oh, it's starting today, baby.
What's starting?
I'm going to the bike rally in South Dakota at Sturgis.
Oh, are they still doing it?
Man, people are so excited. about this. Now, remember, excited can mean a lot of different things.
That's true.
Yeah. And
you're excited to just get out?
They're expected to see 250,000 people from all over the United States.
Is that more or less than normal?
No, that's about normal.
About normal.
To kick off the this whole bike rally thing that they do. So they say that, it lasts 10 days. And Sturgis,
that's practically quarantine time.
So see, that's enough time for everybody to get infected and also quarantine.
You're
so
staying
it's fine.
there. Yeah, you're fine.
So this town in South Dakota is normally 7,000 people.
Yeah. Oh, it just gets crazy,
I
bet.
It will bloom to 250,000 people.
I've known a couple of people who have taken bikes there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I think I would like a motorcycle. I'm not getting one because Eric and my dad.
Did your dad have an accident?
My dad has wrecked his motorcycle like 3 or 4 times. And you know how, I don't know, like dads, they never tell you about it. So like he spent like 3 days in the hospital from a motorcycle. Never told me. It was like, I saw him like at one point and he's like hobbling and I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, well, I hit my motorcycle. Yeah, all this stuff. I'm like, all right. And he's like, yeah, I was in the hospital for a couple of days. I'm fine. I mean, I walk funny now, but I'm fine.
I guess dads can sometimes be that way.
He was. He did. Like, he didn't tell anybody about it. Just like, oh my gosh, Dad, what the heck? So anyway, I just think motorcycles are kind of awesome.
Now, people are concerned. You got a lot of people coming in from different areas on making sure to be safe with that.
So listen, here's what they're afraid of. One person gets COVID and everybody's like, ha, 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 and they're laughing and having fun and they're breathing in the COVID and they're getting it. And then when it's all over, they all go home and take it with them.
Yeah, that's what they're concerned about.
So I just love how, okay, not to be all whatever, but they're like, listen, we can't have people going to church. They're like, because there's like 50 people in there. We can't do that. They're like, there's 250,000 people rally from all over the United States. They're like, oh, say, can you see?
Are you all right? Now, South Dakota has different rules compared to other states.
I know. It's just funny how selective we are about what we get upset about when it comes to gathering. I just want you to know, before anybody starts throwing stones at me, I'm wearing a mask all the time.
He's fine.
So I don't want to hear about it.
All right. So that's starting, though. They are going. You don't have to wear a mask in here.
I don't.
Yeah, so Sturgis is going to happen, but people are just curious.
Oh, it's happening.
People are curious how well will they maintain social distancing and if there'll be any mask stuff.
Yeah, so they're asking them to please do that. But the mayor of Sturgis, this town of 7,000, is like, look, we couldn't stop this thing if we wanted to.
Oh,
like,
really?
Well, they're a town of 7,000. What do they have, like one cop? They've got like Billy Bob the sheriff. That's it.
Now, is that nice? What if they have a lovely department with lots of people?
At 7,000 people? No.
You're right. It's probably mostly volunteer.
Like you're talking about, they wouldn't be equipped if the entire town became deputized and said, not here, not in my backyard. Do you think 7,000 could stop 250,000?
You're right. They wouldn't stop them.
You couldn't stop that.
And the more you tell sometimes people to not and to try to stop them, the more they'll come.
Well, I don't want to issue or traffic and stereotypes here, but there's a certain spirit that accompanies.
I like that word. That's good. There's spirit. Enthusiasm.
And that accompanies the biking culture.
Community.
Yeah, and motorcycling culture. And so you can see where,
they're spirited.
Worst of the Riot podcast.
I want to say what's up to Jeff. He's on the road this morning, heading to Wyoming for vacation and listening.
Hey, thanks for listening.
So thanks for hanging with us. Man, Jeff, you guys should be going to New York because they made a huge announcement. I can't believe we didn't see this sooner, Nikki. It is now legal.
Legal or illegal?
Legal. It is now legal for you to have liquor ice cream. So if you've been like, nothing makes me gladder than some bourbon in my ice cream.
I feel like we could have maybe rhymed that better.
I know. I couldn't think of an ice cream flavor.
Well, are you talking like a vanilla or a chocolate or a strawberry or
No, a Fireball.
Fireball?
So apparently, things you don't know. It is illegal to sell liquor ice cream.
Yeah.
So ice cream that has liquor in it. However, up until now, it has been legal to make ice cream with wine, beer, or hard cider. This is in the state of New York, mind you. This is a state-regulated thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, imagine not being able to watch if you were a ice cream place and someone got a liquor flavor, if it actually still, like, does the liquor cook out or is it still in there?
It doesn't freeze out.
So therefore you were passing around, or like a little kid, it's because it's the appearance, because it is an ice cream. So
Right. And so they said that this Governor Cuomo signed it in, that it's now legal that you can do that. And so the idea is to help the craft beverage industry, but also to help the ice cream industry
recover from things, or just
right,
grow?
because they're having a hard time with.
But then
I thought
aren't there harder liquor rules now or something for bars, but maybe not ice cream places?
I don't know. I was under the impression that we were like,
Locking that down?
If there was one industry that was doing okay.
No, that's at-home liquor, not ice cream or bar liquor.
Yeah, okay.
Because no one's going to restaurants to do that.
So they're saying you can now sell desserts.
Gotcha.
So, if you wanted like fried ice cream, bourbon, it's the only thing I can lean on. It's the only thing I can think of. Like, you want vodka water with ice. I don't know, whatever it is. Like they can make it now. So there you go.
Right.
Listen, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, but if there's ever any kind of an economic downturn where like gambling and booze, that's going to fix it.
They think that'll make things recover.
They do. They're always like, yeah, I got it. More hard liquor and gambling.
But this is ice cream now. This is adding that into it. This is a different layer than normally we get.
Well, it's hot outside.
Yeah, it's summertime.
You gotta have a new delivery device for it. I'll bet you it does well.
We'll see.
You're listening to a morning show hosted by two people who absolutely despise getting up in the morning.
Will you give me a break one time?
The Riot, RadioU.
Nikki, I really am all primed and ready to go to that bike rally this weekend. Except
you don't have a bike?
It's a bicycle rally. Because you know what happened yesterday?
What happened?
I got that pump that I ordered.
Yeah.
I got this huge box, and I'm like, what the heck is this? Bike pump.
Obi needed a bike pump for his bicycle. So.
Yeah. Lisa gave me a bike because I can't find one anywhere. And so I got the tires pumped up.
Yeah, y'all good?
And I adjusted the handlebars.
Yeah.
The seat is insanely uncomfortable.
Well,
but that
that's all
might
bikes.
be my problem. And I went out biking.
Hey!
I biked yesterday.
How very, very good of you.
It was very strange. I couldn't tell you the last time I've ridden a bike.
Was it more for fun, or like, is this something you want to do as a workout?
I don't even know.
You don't even know?
I was just out there having fun. I wanted to see if the bike, like, if I could make it work. I got to get the front brakes. I got to figure something out. They don't work. Back brake works. Mm-hmm. So that's fine, whatever. It's not like I'm not going so fast.
That it's dangerous.
Yeah. I think we're doing okay there. But, yeah, like, so far, so good.
Good for you.
The thing that's really weird is that I've only ever, been in a car or walked and run around my neighborhood. So biking around my neighborhood, I moved around my hood fast.
I know, isn't it weird?
Yes.
It's like you run out of places to go, things to do.
Yeah, it was just this weird feeling of like, I have now ridden everywhere in 5 minutes.
I know.
How did that happen?
Which is why you're like, I went bike riding. I did like 10 miles. You're like, that's nothing.
It's bizarre.
Well,
it is bizarre.
That's good, though. That's good, though. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm a biker now.
Good.
So, like, it's cool.
Well, you got to keep us updated on how it's going. You can always go for, like, instead of an early morning run, if you feel like bike riding is enough of a workout.
I'll have you know that if you had asked me if it was enough of a workout, I would have said no. But after a couple of miles around my neighborhood, I was like...
You did. You're supposed to get one.
It's a lot of hills, Nikki.
Oh, that's true. You're supposed to get like an e-bike. That way it helps a little bit.
That feels counterproductive.
Why? It's only when you need it. Only in a hill situation. But you don't have to have it doing it the entire time. It's just helping you move.
No, it's fine. I don't need help. In fact, no.
The whole point is to not have the help and to do it yourself.
The point is to get out there and hurt a little bit. Like, that's part of it anyway.
Well, that's good. I'm glad it all worked out.
I'm a biker now, guys. So if anybody wants to join I hit the bottom of my hill. There's like this group of 10 kids that were all in their bikes. And I was just like, that's me right now.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Here's what I would love for you to do. I want you to text us or call us, even though we all know nobody's calling, 877-2-RADIO-U. I want to know this weekend, what are you going to do now? I'm going to bike a little bit more. I like that kind of stuff. That's fine. But I'd really like to know, what are you going to watch or what are you going to play? You going to do any video gaming this weekend? You going to do any watching this weekend? Any movies that you're going to watch? So I am going to play Horizon Zero Dawn.
Is that out today?
Yes. I went ahead and I pre-ordered it, pre-purchased it, preloaded it. That was 2 days ago. And then yesterday, all of the reviews for the port have been hitting, and they're like, it's terrible. I'm like, yay!
Oh, because it's
a port.
Yeah, it's a PlayStation game.
That's been moved to PC.
Now you can finally play it on PC. So they're just saying it's just boring?
No, they're saying it just needs
buggy?
patched. Like it's not so much unplayable bugs, but one of the great things about playing a game on a computer, if you have a good one, is like the performance is amazing. And on this, they're like, the performance is okay, I guess.
Which is the bad part when you're like excited to try something right on the first day.
Yes.
Then you're the ones to find out all the issues and the bugs with it. Eventually a patch comes out and then it's better.
The smart play is to wait. It really is the smart play. But I would love to hear from you guys what you're doing. I also think, Nikki, I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to watch Hobbs and Shaw this weekend. I am going to make myself.
I want to be in your brain,
movie.
The section that picks out what you watch each weekend. You're going from all these old 1950 like sci-fi movies. Now, why are you watching Hobbs and Shaw?
I'll tell you exactly why. I thought to myself, I have not done a summer blockbuster all summer.
Yeah.
I haven't. I mean, I did. I watched Jaws, I've watched old ones, but I haven't watched a new, modern, kicking butt kind of thing all summer long because there aren't any. And that is a movie that I somehow managed to not watch last year. Yeah. I don't know how I didn't go see it, but I didn't.
Well, have fun with it. So, it's not horrible. It's just not, it's not as good as I thought it was going to be when I watched, but I was watching on a plane and it was unpleasant. So
everything's unpleasant on
a plane. So it could just be, the attitude about the location.
I don't think so.
Moved into the movie itself.
I got to tell you, my expectations are
pretty low. I'll be curious to see what you say then.
Pretty low.
Also, watch the beginning of it. I feel like The Rock's performance in it was not very good. Like in the first part, the acting, the real acting scenes before the explosions come in.
Yeah.
Something was a little off.
Have you watched him in the other Fast and Furious movies?
I have not seen him in Fast and Furious stuff.
What, really?
No, I've not. I've seen him
that means
in the
you
first
haven't
Jumanji.
seen a Fast and Furious movie since 4?
I don't even know if I saw 4.
You haven't seen 5, 6, 7, and 8?
I've not seen those. I've never seen him in there.
I'm embarrassed to tell you that they're terrible, but I love them.
You do, which is why I think you really want to see this Hobbs and Shaw thing.
I can't. 8, I didn't think was very good, but 5 and 6, oh yeah. Great. And that scene in 7 where The Rock picks up the minigun off the crashed helicopter.
Is that good?
At that point, you're just like, is this a Terminator movie?
What is this?
What is this?
So let's reconvene Monday on how Obi's choices went for the weekend for our entertainment. But feel free to toss whatever into the pot on what you're going to be watching, and we might watch something that you're going to see.
Yeah, I would love to hear what you guys are doing. Look, Aaron says he's running and going to a concert.
Oh, okay.
Or no, that's JC that's doing that. Aaron says he's playing the Fall Guys. Mike says that he's playing Air Rivals. And Dustin says Monster Hunter. So,
seems like a good weekend, guys.
Sounds pretty good.
I gave during the last fundraiser, and all I got was this crappy morning show. This is The Riot on listener-supported RadioU.
Did you see last night, Nikki, that the running mate was announced? The VP candidate?
It was?
Yeah.
I did not.
For Kanye West?
Oh, okay. No, I did not.
Yeah. Everybody's wanting to know about who Joe Biden is going to be doing. But this is Kanye West announced Michelle Tidball.
Okay.
Don't know who she is. She says she's a spiritual life coach. Which means that you and I would have totally been good enough.
In the running. We're not spiritual life coaches.
We could be.
No, I don't think so.
Come on.
I don't know about that.
We could have totally done that. So
I could see you moving into like local politics. I think you'd be fantastic at that.
she's got a bachelor's in psychology from the University of Wyoming, 2003. I've got a bachelor's in communications.
You're almost there.
Which is just as worthless. I'm just kidding. Actually, psychology is way more worthful
Worthful than yours.
than my bachelor in communications. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So there you go. So Kanye West is still like, at first it was like, is he, isn't he? But they're basically pushing to get on as many ballots in as many states as possible. And so he's got people on board. And I know a lot of people are treating his presidential running mate as a joke and kind of treating his entire enterprise here as a joke. But I think they're taking it seriously enough to put the effort and the money into getting on the ballots.
Well, you wonder how much money does that involve, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, he certainly has, at least my perception
is that he has money.
Is that he has the money to work with. My other thought is, I would genuinely like to know, like, who is voting for Kanye West? There are going to be people that vote for Kanye West. Who is going to be voting for Kanye? I don't know.
The Riot Podcast. RadioU.
Have you seen Lego's latest set?
What are they doing?
It's a grand piano Lego.
Really?
It's playable.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Insane.
A bit extravagant, but I guess it's like, what size is it compared to a life-size one?
Well, I don't know about actual size, but I can tell you how much. Oh, I do actually. It's 8.5 inches tall, 12 inches wide, 13.5 inches deep when closed. Yes, like a grand piano, you can open and close it. It cost, well, wait, no, let's not get into that. There are 3,662 pieces.
For it?
Yes.
That feels pretty big. Okay.
Yeah. And it does cost $349.
Now, if you look,
it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
If you Google some of it, people are actually saying it's not quite as playable as you think it is.
I mean, like, it makes noise.
So, I mean, technically, anything that makes
that's playable.
That's playable. That's right. Yeah, good call on that one.
I don't want to hear any of this.
People who play the piano and are more into that world are like, well, it's still cool that it's like that, but it's not playable like you think.
Look, it's not a baby grand piano.
It's not like that.
It's straight up, it's a piano.
So it has workable action that reflects an actual operation of a piano. So that's why people still say it's interesting and it's cool to see.
Yeah.
But it doesn't play specific notes. You just advance the music a note at a time. So that's about it.
Still, I mean, it's a piano.
It's a grand piano. It's cute.
How much does an actual piano cost?
I would think there's no limit. I bet there's a lot of variations with that.
How do you even buy a piano? Do they have piano stores?
They do. Or probably at this point, knowing us and our generation, I'm sure we're just probably buying pianos from someone who had already bought one who's selling it.
Here's a digital one, $1,000. Here's a used piano, $650. So, whatever. I know when I was learning to play the trumpet, they were like, don't buy a cheap one because it'll make you not want to learn.
Yeah, right. You can learn on anything.
So, I'm sure you don't want to learn if you'll want a really expensive piano or maybe just a Lego one.
So it will retail for $350.
Okay.
That's how much it'll be.
It's so inexpensive.
Actually, for larger pieces.
Don't do it.
For Legos.
Don't do it.
It's not as expensive as it could be. I did it. It's not as bad.
You did it.
It's not right. I'm not saying that's right that they charge $350 for it, but that is not as bad as what it could be.
Isn't it better than your children playing with video games?
Give them a piano to put together.
This will make them interested in a real piano, which will lead to their music career, which will make you all very rich. Please buy this piano.
No, because if you've ever done a large-scale Lego set, you'll end up hating it by the time you get done with it, if it's that many pieces. So if you want them to learn to love the piano, this is not the way.
Well, Nikki doesn't have any Lego love in her heart.
I do. I like to put together Legos.
You don't.
I have the giant carousel. I have a bunch of them, but you get tired of it after a while. When you go into like day 2 and day 3.
Oh, Nikki, that's what you're paying for. Is
you get
days
mad.
of activity.
Now you get mad.
You're paying for that. That anger, that's
a part of
feature.
Didn't know about that.
A Rotten Tomatoes score so high, they refuse to make it public. The Riot on Radio U.
I don't talk about it all the time, but I don't hide it either. For me, depression is, man, it's just a part of life. You're like, yeah, me too, man. Just, No, I mean, like clinical depression. It sucks. And I'll tell you what, I've tried all kinds of different things. People are like, you got to get on an anti-inflammatory diet. I feel like everything.
Everybody has something they think will work towards it.
Like, listen, first you need to stop claiming that depression, because by claiming it, it's owning you. It's like, okay, look, I've tried all your little tricks, all the little things, all the little whatever. It's like, I've done all that stuff. And you know what? It really just comes down to some things help, some things don't. It sticks around. I don't know. Like, it is what it is. But if you are somebody that deals with depression, what's one of the things they tell you? It's vitamin D.
Oh, do they say that a lot?
You're not getting enough vitamin D. You start taking vitamin D, that's going to take care of that depression, and you'll never get the flu again. Ever. Like, you're never going to be sick again, because it's a vitamin D deficiency that's killing all of us. And so this very much has my attention. There is a study in which, now get a load of this, a 5-year study.
That is actually pretty good.
18,000 men and women.
A lot of people. Sometimes with studies, they're like, yeah, this was over the course of a semester with 30 people. Like, that's not a large enough or long enough study, but this seems to be.
So, I mean, we can argue, blah, 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 but this feels a little weightier. Mm-hmm. And this study was just published in JAMA, which is weird that I know that that's the Journal of the American Medical Association.
Oh, you do know that.
I do. And so here's what they tell you in JAMA, Nikki, that they found no difference between people taking vitamin D and people taking a placebo for 5 years.
They thought they were taking vitamin D?
Uh-huh. For mood disorders and depression. No significant difference.
And don't send that back to everybody who tells you, though, because people believe what they want.
That's the other thing. Like, if you're depressed, you have no doubt gotten used to the idea that you get a lot of unhelpful help.
And some helpful, I bet, but...
And you just have to, here's what you got to do. You just have to understand that these people care about you. They love you enough to try to help you and appreciate the help they're giving you. And I've tried things. Some, as I said, some of which have helped, some of which has been, I'm sorry, worthless. I do take vitamin D every day, but apparently to no effect.
I don't think there's anything wrong with just helping to maybe help have a healthier body.
No. I'm not. Hey, listen. Do I sound like someone that's qualified to give medical advice? No.
Just when it's a common thing that's thrown out there as a quick fix for depression.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I will tell you again, like, if you get into the field, you read up on depression, and, Tom Cruise says it's made up. Your mom might say it's made up. Like, who knows? But it's a very controversial field. And this is one thing that a lot of people point to. And so, hey, I don't know. If you take it and it helps you, fine. This is just a study. And the result of the study, for what it's worth, says that it has shown no statistical impact in 18,000 people. It's a fascinating read.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh, no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.
F it. This time, get drunk, see our show, touch rats, get drunk some more.